welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views, they are amazing.
It's a 13 for y'all. 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 It's a 13 for y'all.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. It's your moderator, B. Jones, coming to you live for episode 201 in the books, baby. We here. I got my man, Coach K, up top. What's happening, brother?
I am good, sir. I have no complaints. I am excited to be here on the 13th floor with yet another podcast episode.
Absolutely excited. We're going to come back to you with the happy birthday song in just a second. Don't worry. BJ, what's going on, Thundercat?
I'm good, man. I feel like I need Jay's intro that he did for us on the remix he did. Like, get some jumping going on. That man was feeling it, yo. Shout out Jay.
DJ, Barry B. Fresh, what's going on?
Oh man, always another beautiful day in Zamunda. You know, practicing this neutrality, even though I've been accelerating and elevating. You feel me? Can you smell what I'm cooking?
I can smell what you're cooking in the background, man. What is that? That looks like some something I need to put in the crib for Sunny, dog.
Hey, if you know, you know. I'm telling you right now. Netflix is called Squid Game. It
Oh,
is
that's
the
the
number
Squid
one
Game
show.
thing?
Yeah, man. This it's a pretty official, nice little series. If you need to go ahead and waste some time enjoying something that's a little different, it's kind of like a mix of Saw and Hunger Games and just like it's a lot going on. But it's not extremely gory, but it is gory. But it's just it's a nice ride. That's all I can say. It's a nice ride. I recommend it to anybody. But I mean enough
I've
about me
seen.
and Squid Game.
Yeah. We're gonna get on the phase on. What's happening, sir?
Life's happening.
Every
Good
day.
though. Yeah. Living life and just doing the best. Is like Kay said, happy to be here. Looking forward to this great 201 episode. But yeah, life, man. Ready to get into some therapy, my bros.
There it is. So before we get into that, Fresh, go on, kick us off right with the fresh invasion, big bro.
This week we are keeping it on a simple focus. If you try to wait until you're ready, you're gonna wind up waiting your whole lifetime. Stop trying to prepare and do all of these things for the unknown and start doing things that put you on the path for the opportunities that you want to take. We sit back and are wasting too much time worried about, preparation. Not saying that you don't need to be prepared, but I am saying that we need to take more steps towards execution. Start making that motion, make it happen, keep it fresh and faded. If you need some advice or some pushes, the 13th floor is here. How?
Absolutely, man. I like that. Because if you don't start taking those steps, life will absolutely start pushing you in that direction, one way or the other. I had a recent experience. I think I mentioned it to y'all last night about the car getting towed out of my apartment complex. And backstory, I'd have probably given these people, since we've been here, maybe a couple $1,000 as far as tolls, because it's $325 a pop, and I think it's been told at least 4 times.
But why are you getting told?
Like it happens because I forget to go move the car. So we go grocery shopping. Y'all been to the old apartment, and there's a parking garage attached to it. So you go grocery shopping. I got the cart and everything. I drive upstairs in the garage, unload all the groceries into the cart, roll it into the house, put the groceries away. Typically, I'll either one, set an alarm so I don't forget to go and move the car, or I'll go right back and move it right then so I don't even have to worry about it. This particular time, and not all of the times that I've been told or we've been told has it been my fault. Just want to throw that out there so y'all don't be looking at me crazy.
I was.
I'm definitely, I'm about to say,
I
I'm
was
definitely,
definitely judging
exactly.
you.
I'm definitely in
No.
a
Massive judge.
I'm
son.
definitely in the minority of those situations. But this
Okay,
particular
okay,
time,
fair
it
enough.
was absolutely all me. It was all me. I definitely forgot. And it was one of those situations, man. I went to the grocery store, brought the stuff in the house. Sonny was, wailing about something, and I put the groceries up, and then it was cook, do this, do that. And then before I knew it, fell asleep, putting
Gone,
Sonny to sleep.
Oh,
I
gone.
wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to move the car.
They
Boom.
said, "Don't worry, we did that for you."
yeah, right, exactly.
I
Yeah,
go out there and I look and I'm just like sick, man. You know that sunk feeling where you
Hmm.
know you done messed up, and then it's like,
Hmm.
God damn, that's another $325 that I don't have, that I don't want to spend on this ridiculousness. Like I was 38 hot.
now,
So
just
go ahead.
so some points of clarification. Where are you parking exactly? Is it just a random spot, or is it
Yeah,
like
is it like
circle
some
spot?
thug parking, or is it like, yo, you
So
can
in the
only park here up until, you know what I mean? This is like
It's kind
the
of one of those unwritten rules. In the garage, you can only park there until probably about 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Normally they tow later. I've seen the truck come in at about 3, 4 in the morning. And typically it's on a Friday. Like these guys are like professional assholes because they come and get you on a Friday because they know you just
uh
got paid
these
most
guys
of the
are
time.
businessmen who understand
Oh yeah,
how to
they
get
no,
their
listen.
money. I'm about to
Let me
say.
tell you, and I as a former DMV resident, the tow game out there in the apartment complexes is serious. They are they
Real.
Too
are
serious.
they
And
bust
it's
around, they
money.
drive
And
through.
it's
Yeah,
it's cake.
it's
That is
it's
is
it's a
known
money
money.
game for them, and
Yep.
it's like they take you to the lots, they get it going, but they make these deals, these properties, and they come around. They do not
Yeah,
play.
they come and get you. At one time they had to refund me because they didn't see my license, not the license, but the little decal in
Yeah.
the back window or whatever. But
I know
yeah,
they
so if
was
you
that
want to,
was a fight right there because I know they never be trying to.
Right.
oh yeah, no, it was hell on wheels. But that's another story for another day. Um, but yeah, so you park in the garage. If you don't have the decal to park in the garage for the month, then you are susceptible to tow at any point in time. Typically, they don't come until late in the evenings or whatever. And then there are some reserved parking spaces down on the the main parking lot or whatever. But yeah, they got me in the garage. So that joint just completely like wrong way to start the day off. But after going through all the emotions and beating myself up and realizing ain't too much I can do other than go get my car and pay this $325. Um, the back end, I've been trying to get back to going to the gym at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning for about a month now, and just really haven't been able to. And there's been some times where like I've gotten up, but it was like, nah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get this extra 30, 45 minutes of sleep. That turns into an extra 2 hours of sleep, and it just never happens. And then once the day starts, it just runs. So after I get the car back and I'm looking at the time, and it's like, I'm already like wide awake from the emotional standpoint. I'm like, hey, I may as well go ahead and take this opportunity to get back into the habit. And that's what I do. And so that was last Friday, and I've been consistent, since then, getting up like 4:30, getting there between 4 and 4:30. I got there at 4 o'clock today. But I say that on the heels of the frustration because like I've been trying to consistently do this, get back into my routine since the car accident and just haven't had the will or whatever. And life, knowing that I've been trying to get there, puts me in a position where, all right, this is what you need to be doing. This is what you want to do. I'm gonna make it so, it's a little bit more obvious that you need to go ahead and get up here and take care of your stuff. And I think after the gym and everything, them endorphins is kicking, testosterone's at an all-time high, you kind of forget about, just forget about the loss on the earlier day and everything just flows. And, it's a good Friday after that point. And, the perspective of the situation and not focusing so much on the negative is really where I'm coming from, because I think there's a lot to be learned in that, especially when as we live, as Art would say, we go through trials and tribulations, and it's easy to focus on the negatives of whatever is going on or whatever just happened. It's a lot harder, a lot more difficult. It takes a lot more discipline. It takes a lot more of you to try to see the silver lining and push yourself into a place where you can give yourself a better reaction to the situation and try to turn it into a positive and move forward and not be so negatively impacted. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. You know, you can hop in, give your thoughts, but I really think that the power perspective is really real. And we as men, our listeners, really take heed to that whenever you're going through, you know, whatever tough situation might be.
Sounded good, man. What else you got? No, I'm just
That's
joking.
it, man.
I'm just joking.
Way to go. So next segment is
But no, what you're saying is very true, and people get tired of hearing cliche. They get tired of hearing, oh, you got to find the silver lining, or when one door closes, another door opens, things along those lines. But it is absolutely true. If you sit there and fester in the energy of what went wrong, then you can't find right. And it's really awesome that you took that moment to kick off something positive that ends up spanning more than the hours that it took you to be in that space of, oh man, I can't believe this happened again. And now you turned it into days of good. So way to flip a situation, and hopefully, you know, the listeners are receiving that message and maybe evaluating their own space and thinking, now, what can I turn to a positive? What can I take that is a singular moment in time and have it be multiple return out of what happened?
So really, it's
anytime.
getting out of that "what was me" mentality. We've talked about it a couple times before over the years. Again, it's not always a lesson to learn, but what can I take from this, right? And in your day, it wasn't that. Of course, parking situation, that is something to think about. But again, that positive, how do you turn it into something that's going to be fruitful? Because at the end of the day, you let it, like Kay said, you let it fester. That's eating you alive. And I think everybody on here can attest to the fact that those are little things that eat away at your health, your mental health, your physical health. Like those little things just pile up and pile up to the point where that one thing just take you over the edge, then all hell breaks.
Something that is extremely energizing is that ability to take a negative and create a positive. When you can find yourself in that mentality, in that focus, and have the ability to not let the things that most people allow themselves, like getting your car towed or you know, having a flat tire, you know, ruin your day, and you can still figure out, you know, the silver lining in those clouds. It really does make a difference in how you move, and you can feel that radiate throughout the rest of your day and or, you know, life.
So taking a moment to kind of, oh, go ahead, Kay. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, because I wasn't going to really say anything impactful per se. I was just really wanted to talk about that saying, the silver lining. And it's so old now. I mean, I don't know who's trading silver. I'm not. So I just wanted to know if that saying needed to be updated, and where do you submit that? Like, can it be platinum? Can it be a platinum lining? Can it
The
be a
crypto
gold lining,
lining.
a crypto lining, a vibranium lining, something?
Please drop your thoughts on what the new saying, what should the upgraded 2021 you know, silver lining saying
Better
be.
yet, we gonna put a survey up on Facebook. 'Cause
Hey,
hopefully you might be listening to this on Facebook. Welcome if we got new Facebook listeners to the podcast. And we can also do a poll on IG. So
yes sir,
you're gonna
yes
look
sir.
out for that.
So I was gonna take the moment to kind of throw in, because BJ, you sort of mentioned it when you fester in that negativity and the impacts that it has on your mental health and depression and mental illness and such. And being that by the time this podcast drops, we're going to be moving into one of those mental health depression months into October, to recognize that and, you know, kind of speak to that and some of the things that, you know, we as Black men in general can try to do to alleviate some of the woes that come with the mental illness. Fresh gave us a great one, starting out the podcast with the, what is it, Squidworld?
Squid Game is close enough.
Squid Games. Squid Games.
Game. Squid
There it
Game.
is. There you go. Keep me on task. But yeah, man, taking the time to do something fun and enjoyable. And it may seem difficult, if you're going through a lot, but I think focusing on that, giving yourself that opportunity to kind of remove from whatever the negative situation is definitely going to be beneficial. Black men suffer from mental health issues at a much higher rate than our white counterparts or any other counterparts. And part of that is, I think, is the way we're raised. There's a lot of emphasis put on strength, not necessarily emotional strength, like physical bravado, and not being able to express yourself emotionally or what you may have going on. And so I think we have to take time to understand that, reflect upon that, so that we can, build better generations as we move forward.
I gotta agree
I think
with that. Go ahead, BJ.
No, go ahead.
That was me, but go ahead.
No, I was saying I gotta agree. I think this month or this week for me, Mercury made some changes and things going forward, and I'm in a really weird mental vibe space. But it led. It's crazy we're going into this month and this is what we're talking about. But like, just that thought of, man, what's going on internally? Let me sit back, just think about it, see what's going on, and not try to focus too much on it, and try to find some happy things that can make me smile or make me whatever, or some thoughts going forward. So luckily the boys are here, my wife's around, and that gives me that good energy, and you guys obviously. But here physically with me, I have them, so that kind of changes that mindset forward. But the work day is getting longer and longer, and I'm not sure what the trigger is yet. Trying to figure out.
So let me tell you what it is, and I'm gonna say something controversial. First of all, for those of you that took those vaccines messing up your head. No, I'm just joking with you. But
the conversations around the vaccines are hilarious. Like, go ahead.
But what I will say is, yeah, all of us are probably in an interesting headspace because we don't know as of yet what the ripple effect of having to deal with a pandemic is, or having to be shut up and quarantined in your house for long periods of time and not being able to socially interact. And yeah, we're starting to do it now, but you still don't know what the effects of that time period where you could not have that social interaction and what would happen. There is a reason that they put people in solitary confinement as a punishment, right? Mm-hmm. Because they know that is a punishment. So essentially, we all were put under solitary confinement and don't know what the effects are going to be moving forward. So definitely, for sure, you want to check at this point and see what your emotional state is. And if you do need to get help, don't feel like you can't do that, and don't wait, because it's only going to get worse if you don't speak up and say something.
There's a lot of help out there right now, right? Because of resources out there to get help, but you have to be willing to open yourself up to search, to ask for help, to find it, all these different things. This week, Friday, a friend of the podcast is bearing a family member, and they believe the root cause is mental health issue, right? When we think about everything that goes on, like there was some serious times in life where I think back now and I've made changes with stuff. And well, first thing that goes back to, first of all, with the time change and it's getting darker early now, seasonal depression is a real thing.
Especially in Maryland, where you don't get no sun for like months at a time.
Seasonal depression. And I felt I was self-diagnosed once I realized what was going on. That's why I had to get out of Ohio. When I moved back in a couple years, like I was miserable and I couldn't figure out why I was in the funk. Basically from this time of year, October, November, till springtime, and springtime in Ohio was late. You still April, May, you still may be getting snowstorms, right?
Right.
It doesn't, you never know what's going on, right? So seasonal depression is real. And once I moved back, and again, I know people who live there, whatever, your body gets used to it, your internal clock gets used to it. But you got to get to the root cause. And that's where I'm going with the whole thing. What is the root cause? Is it your environment? Is it the food you're eating? Is it the nutrients that you're getting, not putting you in the right place? Is it circumstances? Is it work environment? Like all these things are triggers. But if you never get to the root cause, and for me, it was I need to get out of here. And that's what motivated me to get on the point and figure out how the heck to get back up out of Ohio and get back down to Florida. Again, do I want to move anywhere else? It's an option, but I never want to go through that again. Like I never want to. I never want to. If I tell you, like that was, and I don't think for that time, like I probably fell off the face of the earth for y'all that I did keep in contact with. Probably didn't hear from me like all went along. Like I was just in this cloud, this little gray cloud, because it was gray literally from October, November to April, May. It's just gray.
Yep. When
You don't get the exposure. You don't think, and I know I wasn't eating right. I know nutrients probably weren't there as well. So all these factors. But root cause is really get down to you have to find somebody you can talk to. Right? We're fortunate enough to have bounce stuff off each other. If we don't hear from somebody for a couple of days, hey, yo, you good? What's going on? Like there's a lot of people out there that don't have that.
Right.
So you need to find somebody you can talk to. It may be your significant other, it may be a family member, it may be somebody you have to call, a stranger on a hotline or something. But you need to talk to somebody to start getting to the root cause and open up. And we as Black men have to do better. The conversation with the friend of the show, that was a question posed to me, like, why do Black men not open up? Why don't you guys seek help? But I really just had to say, it goes back to a lot of conversations we always had. We always told to be a man, suck it up, figure it out, just deal with it. And we carry that stuff with us on the back. And then all of a sudden everybody said, oh, well, just go to therapy. It's not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
It is, the action is, but the mental hurdle to get over the action.
Mental preparation, right.
Is not that easy. When that's been ingrained in you for all these years of just suck it up, you'll be okay. You're a man, be a man about it. Like, so then you start showing emotion about stuff. Then, oh, he's soft. You better talk about that. Oh, he don't know how to handle his feelings. Like, he can't operate this. He can't do that. He can't lead. He can't do this. Like,
right.
You're being torn down from the things you were taught to build up all these years. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, who are you as a person? Do I really know myself? Do they really know me? You start questioning yourself. And at the end of the day, people keep it inside. Again, I'm not justifying that it's the right thing to do, but I understand it.
No, this is nail on the head. Last year, I personally told my team that I'm going to take off 2 days mental health break day. Told my boss directly, hey, this is going on. I just want to take a little break. I need some time. There's a lot going on. This is during like the height of all the racist issues and all that stuff. And I just need to take a couple days off for that mental break. Wound up being that my superiors above her were like, oh, well, why does he need a break? Is it too much stress at work? What's going on? Can I handle a leadership role? And I'm thinking, no, you just told me that if I need to take time off for these random things and use this. But then when I do it, you turn around and say, oh, well, you can't be a leader. You can't do this because you can't manage this. I'm like, I've managed way more stress than that, but I just needed time because it was just a lot of chaos. Like I didn't want to drive my car. It's nothing to do with work. Work was fine. I was personally like, I don't want to go outside yet because I don't want to get shot. So yeah, that was it, but that's factual. What you're saying is that truth. And that's what slows people down from wanting to do things because of the repercussions, whatever, of what you get.
Repercussions.
Thank you, of what you get.
I think that is we all have to do better with checking in on yourself and being able to have better positive self-dialogue and checking in and understanding what you got going on. But then also, just like we're saying, like you got to be able to have somebody to check family or, outside, you have to be able to have those conversations.
Yes.
I don't know what just happened. I thought I was going crazy.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely. Go ahead,
so
man.
first we talked about environmental effects, right? I want to touch on the point there. You have the winter that comes in, everybody stays inside. Again, going back, we just had a pandemic, lockdown. Everybody was staying inside. Nobody was going anywhere.
Mhm.
So my recommendation, one of the biggest causes of seasonal depression that people do not really know and dig into is your vitamin D levels.
Mhm.
Don't say the same thing. You beat me to it, brother.
Wow.
Is your vitamin D levels. So how many people are there right now that haven't been outside, especially us? Some of us are seeing the most lightest skin version that we've been in years.
True.
You may want to go back and check. Ask your doctor to check your vitamin D levels and make sure everybody should probably be on a vitamin D supplement.
I had to start last month based on my levels that came back from my last blood work.
Yep.
And I'm in Florida, and I'm outside working and doing stuff. I had to do it.
Black people require a higher amount of vitamin D than our non-Black and brown constituents. So please definitely do that. Art, I want to come to what you were talking about when you talked about people at work not understanding why you needed that time away. And really and truly, once you say that you need a mental health break, you are now protected.
Absolutely.
And they really aren't supposed to come question, well, why do you need this? Why do you need that?
Right, yeah.
HR gets a hold of that, it's going to be bad. So look, we're not people that typically, even though they put it out there that, oh, we won't show up to work, we'll just call off. No, typically that's not what we do. We show up no matter what.
Right.
And it's funny, even during a pandemic, we show up because I need this job.
Yeah.
I can't afford to get let go.
No, I need this check.
I need this check. Right. So let me show up. It was very funny. I was reading an article and it was talking about in the workforce, women are the most fatigued, stressed at the moment. And since 2020, they've had some growth as far as getting into leadership roles. But the Black woman is losing leadership roles. And they talked about them supporting things like the pandemic, diversity, inclusion, all of this. And it all makes sense. But what stood out to me was there was a quote from a straight white woman. That's exactly how it said, straight white woman, like VP or whatever she was. And she said, hey, this last year I've worked harder than I ever have in my life because I had to constantly keep track of the emotional state of the people that work for me. And that put an additional hardship on me as far as working, having to get the work done while keeping in mind how people were affected by this pandemic. And what stood out to me was, well, shoot, welcome to the world of the minorities. Because that's us all the time. We are always thinking about what's going on. Am I going to be able to get home today? Am I going to be able, my drive into work? Do I have to worry about, what's going on with my friends, my family, what's happening? And we're always working through that. So there is a certain amount of adversity that this pandemic put people through that they had never even felt before, that Black men, Black women, brown men, brown women, we have this adversity all the time.
Right.
So you telling me all you want me to do now is I just got to figure out whether or not I need to put on a mask or I need to go get a shot? That in comparison is like, okay, I face the possibility of dying every single day, but we still carry it. And for those of us that have just been out there working this whole time, yeah, we stressed,
Yep.
fatigued, and we
Mhm.
still trying to push on.
Yep.
So do your thing, man. Look, take your time, take your
And if you,
vacation.
and it goes back to that, if you don't push on, what's the talk about why? And again, it's not always about the talk, but what's going to be said about you as that leader,
Right.
that father, that husband, right? So
It
we
don't
push
matter.
on.
They talking about you anyway.
Right.
But what
Right.
That's the biggest point.
But I hang my hat on the fact that whatever happens out there, can't nobody tell me about my place as a father or a husband in my household,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You get outside of there, I can't control everybody's things. I will not fail in those positions.
Well,
There's some trying times, but I will not fail. I refuse to fail.
that's a certain level of life maturity on your part, and you got to get to a certain level of not care state, because they are going to try to make your home life difficult by what you see on the media and in what you see on reality TV shows, and they're going to try to make it seem like if you say, "Whoa, I need a timeout," oh,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you? You becoming lazy? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yep. Yep.
You
Totally agree.
you know, you soft, like, what, you a man, you're supposed to be able to handle this.
Exactly.
Mhm. Man, it's truth. That is 100% the truth. I don't even know where to go from there, but up.
I mean,
That's
you
what
know, you got to check on your folks, man. It starts with us. We got to check on each other. We
Yeah.
have to normalize it and make it okay for us to say to one another, "Yo, bro, I'm struggling. I'm going through it."
Mm-hmm.
And be all right with that, and not just add to the, "Man, what you talking about, man? Come on, man. Like, what, you drinking too much sugar or something, or whatever, just stupid stuff that we say." We got to get better.
And
Yeah,
the
you got to be
bravado piece gotta
comfortable with
be taken
yourself,
out.
man. Yeah, the bravado got to be taken out. Got to be taken out. Man, I want to take the time now to have a celebration. Coach K reached another milestone this year, man.
That is.
Happy 45th.
Another
What's
That
going
is,
on, man? How you
man.
feel? Another trip around the sun, as they say.
Man, listen, I feel great. I do feel, anytime you hit one of these milestones, you kind of take a self audit, right? And y'all know I'm always self auditing, but it just, when you know that this year is coming and it's a milestone one, you start saying, man, am I putting out everything I'm supposed to put into the world? Am I, how much time do I have left? Right? Like, you never think your time is going to end unexpectedly, but it could, right? And what would it be that I didn't put out? Right? Like, you guys get lots of exposure to me. You guys heard me say a bunch of stuff. We say a bunch of stuff on the podcast for the people that listen, and they're like, oh, but how many more people am I missing out on because I don't walk in the confidence of my purpose or in the confidence of my message and my voice? Right. So I think, look, I thought this was going to be a year I was going to have a big party and everybody get together, but I kind of laid back and let stuff happen for people that, they didn't get to do that thing last year. Right. So I let other people have the floor this year. Maybe next year is the one where it's a big part of the big celebration. But in saying that, ain't no guarantee. Right. So now I got to celebrate every day,
Exactly.
daily. Right. And my goal now is to bring people with me as I go through that in year 45, right? Like, to honestly be able to say at the end of year 45, yo, this was one of the best years that I lived of my life, right? And bring people along for that journey. Because when you talk about normalizing things, people don't think that way. They set points of life where this is going to be the best, or I'm going to do my best. And it's like, okay, well, what if we just try to do that like every day? Like, what if every day we just celebrate it and we're thankful for what we have and are thankful for what we're going to put into the day? right? And
When
and go ahead, somebody,
I,
whoever was saying.
I was just saying, when you live like that, you gain so much more. Just that positivity and that gratefulness for the day. You just like you talked about walking in confidence, like that. I don't know. It's like it's not so humble that it's meek, but you can appreciate the little things, the moments, life in general. And so you exude that, and it comes right back to you. So like that same energy, the reason why, one of the reasons Carol is so great is because of how you exude that energy to other people, and then it eventually just comes right back. So being able to walk in that confidence and live like that, I think, yeah, I'm with you 100%, man. Like it's huge.
And and you got to be mindful, right? Because you said it. Look, I put out a lot of energy for other people, but what I've been neglecting for myself is, look, I do enjoy being around people, especially like my people that I'm cool with, and that's my recharge. And in the last few years, I haven't had the benefit of that recharge. Like, okay, I may see y'all occasionally, but to intentionally set it up to where I see you guys, I see other people that may be close to me. Like that's been the missing piece as far as me being able to recharge and make sure that I am able to operate in an optimal level, because I'm putting out, but I'm also getting back from the people that I know will lend that energy back to me and continue to recycle it, right? So a lot of times we talk about the black dollar circulating in our communities, but what about our energy circulating in our community?
Hmm.
Right? We're putting out our energy into these workplaces that, we try to help people that look like us and talk like us. But for the most part, it's going out to support the status quo.
Hmm.
And if we're ever going to change the status, we got to think about, okay, how do we just keep feeding into each other? And how do we keep that energy recycling? What do we do? And we make up excuses, man. Oh man, I really can't. I gotta drive. How long to get where? Nah, man, I don't know. I need to get this rest, so I'm ready for Monday.
Right. That's
Please,
why you never hear me
please
say anything
stop
about
that.
my drive. Anywhere, if it's coming to see you, coming on me in my area, just do it. Let's just get it, even for 15
But
minutes.
it's crazy how it takes so long to be able to create that mentality, right? Because you spend so much of your 20s and 30s sitting there in a mind state of like, I don't really know if I want to go check my homeboys. It's gonna be an hour. Forget it. I'm not gonna do it. And then it's
Mhm.
like now we realize that if we would have been doing that more often, we would have, what I mean? If we would have taken that time more often, the things we could have built and the energy we could have created that would have rippled into right now is like, what could that have been? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because you don't understand and fully harness that energy until it's later in life, to when it's just like, yo, being able to get together for the game. It's like, yo, all of us had a moment of just sitting back, standing back, and just kind of looking and just having that, just like, yo, I needed this and I need more of this. You know what I mean? And just not talking to nobody, but literally just absorbing the energy and just seeing, just like, yo, what am I doing? Why don't I do this more? Period.
Mm.
That was
Period. Why
Atlanta
don't I
for
One
do
of
this
me.
us
more?
says
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
One of
Literally, that's what I was talking about, the Canes game.
That was me. I didn't know how much I needed that until I got back here.
one of us
Tired as
says
all
that
get
all the
out,
time.
but tired as all get out. But that was like the best weekend I've had in years. Something simple as a tailgate, whether we went to the game or not, just being around all y'all. I needed that.
Yep, but we left the game early. Like we pretty
Yeah.
much stayed in the game for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, you know what? Let's go back out there and do more of that
By
because
force or by
this,
choice?
yeah,
But right, yeah.
little
A little
both.
bit of both.
I'm gonna say it's a little both, but I even, yeah, it was
Yeah.
a
But it
good
was worth
time.
it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It
Like
was
it was
it
literally
was
like,
worth
a
it.
man, they
good.
messing up our groove, man. Let's get
Yeah,
Right,
it
it was
right.
right.
more
They,
like the
they
game
messing up
kind of, yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Right.
The game kind of messed up our vibe. That is like, no, let's go ahead and keep this party going.
Yeah, no, I was trying to say
That's
is
why
I
I wait
think
till
one of us says
homecoming.
that like all the time. Uh, Doing it now versus like when you're supposed to be like old and retired or whatever, enjoying those
Right.
moments and not waiting till that point in time. I can't remember who said it, but that's just a prime example of that and getting to that more. So absolutely recharge. I think I drove 14 hours in Memphis to have that same moment with one of my best friends out there. Like, gotta have it. Gotta have it.
Don't go broke doing it. People
I think that's
like
the other thing
I
though is don't make it wedding singer, some type of big extravagant. It doesn't always have to be
yeah,
some big
exactly.
and
Nah, man.
I think that we have to do better at being able to do those simple things of go just to some chill place, you know what I mean? Go camping
Yeah,
somewhere. Go just do simple things and get more in tune with both nature and each other as opposed to feeling like it's oh well let's go to Vegas and stay at the
right,
Bellagio dog and
right.
get the suite and do like you don't need to do all of that. It doesn't have to be such an occasion, just the ability to get we're gonna barbecue on the beach. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna plan it. Everybody's gonna come in town for this weekend and we're gonna do a big beach barbecue, something simple, and hang out and enjoy life. Like those moments wind up being so much
Hmm.
better simply because they're so much more personal, but allow you to be so much more free.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right, my BFBG. We gotta start wrapping this thing up, man. I'm coming to you for the corner and then Coach K to get us out of here. What you got this week, brother?
This week I'm gonna leave everybody with a question of trying to figure out on your path of wherever you're going, how do you know if you hit the wall? Well, not a wall. How do you know if you hit the dead end or you just can't see the left turn coming your way to go another path? It's that mindset where you just think you're going, and is there an internal feeling that you get? Is there a thought? Is there things moving around you that make you want to have that feeling of walking away or changing or adjusting? Right now, it's right in my environment. It's kind of like what is going on? What's happening? Where do we stand? Where do I stand? What's my what's my leverage? How am I producing? What is the results of what's going on day to day? And that's just not work. That's also financial. It's also with with being a good husband, being a good dad, knowing when it's time to adjust what you think you may know is the right thing or been taught this is the right thing, and saying let's try something different or going down a different path of that road to get a different result for it. So I know personally for me, and I told Kay that I'm about to turn into this crazy hermit because I made a promise to myself that I need to get more houses under my belt. And 2020, 2019, I got the first house. And that was like, yes, it's great. Put all the money into it, invested, got it going. It's doing its thing. No profit yet from it, but that wasn't the point. It's a long-term investment. So that's fine. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But after that first one, it's supposed to be cut everything out, go on to the next one. And life throws things at you. Oh, go do this, or go travel here, or go do this. And I'm thinking to myself, is it okay to say no, I can't go here now, but I can come here? Or no, I can go out with you, but I'm not going to have any big food or anything else or big drinks. I'm just going to hang out with you, maybe get something small, some water, chill out, because my goal is that if I can put that $50 I was going to spend there now into that bucket that's going to buy that next thing that I want to do, is that okay? And it's everyone around me understanding where I'm thinking, not being afraid to share that thought. So it's things to think about and things to go through and kind of understand that. But I'll leave everyone with that thought is like knowing when it's time for you to say, this is what I want, this is how I want to do this, and accept me for who I am or how I'm going to do it.
Beautiful.
Are we gonna answer that now, or are we leaving that to kind of scoop in next week with what you
We
call it?
definitely can scoop in next week. We can leave it for some comments. Just went into that's where the corners right now.
I mean, I was just saying it because I got hella answers for
Well,
that.
go ahead, brother. It's your shine, man. Go ahead and pass the mic. All right, pass the mic to Brother Fresh.
Go ahead.
Let the church say amen. I think that we it's about you. Who cares what anybody like? Understand your energy, understand your life force, and understand like the people who are going to be upset because you're not going out for that $50 drink or $100 meal. don't deserve to have your energy anyway. You know what I mean? Those
Right.
who know you and understand what you know who you are, they understand that it is not personal if you are, not accepting drinks. We all understand where your path is and what's going on. And this is for anybody and everybody that we spend so much time invested in being worried and concerned about what other people think and won't allow ourselves to be ourselves, won't allow ourselves to experience the things that we want to do and be the way that we want to be, and ultimately like stop caring so much and worrying about what other people could potentially say, because nine times out of ten we're totally wrong with the assumption that we make. But then even on top of that, who cares? Like, they're not feeding you, they're not providing you any checks, they're not doing anything, you know what I mean? That it's just like, yo, the people who understand your energy and move in the right and move in your energy, they will never be offended by you doing you at the end
Right.
of the day.
Yep.
Well said, brother. Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here with Coach K, if you like what you heard today on the 13th floor, make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button on all social media platforms at 13th floor, please. You watching us on YouTube, you loving the production. Art puts an amazing amount of energy into the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe, man. He's doing all types of things in the back end for the YouTube channel. We trying to get to 500, baby, so we got to get there. Need those likes and share and subscribe and share some more and subscribe some more and then share one more time for
There
us.
you go.
And if you want to listen to the podcast, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, everywhere they
Facebook.
playing the podcast. Facebook, yep, we
Yeah,
got
it's
the RSS
everywhere.
feed going up. Wherever you
You
listen to the
already
podcast, man,
know.
make sure you type in 13th floor at 13th floor, please, on all your social medias. Like, subscribe, get us. Coach K, go ahead and take us home, man.
I love it when Faison's Corner is a great segue into my closing. And when you think about people who like to invest, they look for stocks that they can buy when it's low, or they look for an antique car that's rusting somewhere. They make whole shows out of that. People that go searching for old cars that people don't realize the value of. People go look for fixer-uppers, or in the spirit of gentrification, they go buy up property that's dirt cheap and they develop it. And all of this is with the goal of maximizing the return on your investment. And for some reason, when we go through struggle or we have problems, we just decide to just stay in that. We don't see the opportunity in getting a huge return on our investment with our own life. And there's some of you that are listening right now, you got some challenges or some things you're facing. First of all, we strongly encourage you, call somebody, right? Call somebody, start talking about it. You will be surprised where resources will come from when you start talking about it. Somebody knows somebody that can help you. But take this opportunity to invest in yourself and your life, and for you to become your best commodity, your best investment, because that's out there for you. And this is the time. It's hard to invest in yourself when you got it all, right? Like, you can keep, like, your return will be small increments, but when you're going through the struggle, that's game time. That's the time where you really look for how you can invest in yourself and what you could do. That's all I got.
Hey, fellas, before we close it, I just want to say, man, amazing energy tonight. I definitely thought it was going to be a struggle for me to get through this podcast, because I've been up since like 2 o'clock this morning, straight, and been moving the whole time. But you guys definitely brought it tonight. Excellent energy. Appreciate y'all, man. That was beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, we done here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. That's 201 in the book, baby.
For y'all, it's a 13th floor, y'all. It's a 13th floor, y'all.